Alright, we're back with the RCA 6XD5, and this is its final day on the green cloth as it has been reassembled and is ready to go back to the owner. I've already got her fired up here, so
that when the customers buy it, they know exactly what they're getting, and that product will meet.
Nothing much on this end of the band, sadly.
To us, and this is something that we...
Effective. Call free information and find out more now. 800-291-6670. There is no cost or obligation.
All of the basics and makes buying or selling of crypto as simple as buying and selling stock. For a limited time, you can take it.
Running Y Road. Doors open 30 minutes prior to seminar.
Alright, well, we don't really care much about the radio as much as we do the other functionality. My order from Amazon finally came in, and we now have a 6-foot stereo adapter for the audio input. And I'll flip it around real quick here so we can see that. There have been a few changes around the back. The original RCA jack, I've passed the audio cable through the center of it so people won't plug anything into that. And the left and right channels have been coupled together with 1K ohm resistors, and the audio signal is passed through an XY type safety cap before getting into the, I think it's the detector stage, or no, it goes into the volume control before it passes into that. So both sides, both the ground connection passes through a safety cap before it goes to the line, and the audio connections pass through a safety cap. So that's as good as I can get it without using an impedance matching transformer, which I just don't have. I kind of used all those up. But we've got a good length of cord on here. Brand new power cord with a polarized plug. Switch side is on the hot lead, so that's good. And in order to get the backer on, this was a tricky thing. Originally there were 4 of these little T-shaped push clips. They were just like an expansion pin, essentially. You pinched them, shoved them in, and then they expanded out and held it in these 4 plastic channels. Unfortunately, the last person that had the radio just, I guess they lost them, and they decided to just drive screws into those plastic channels, and of course they utterly destroyed the upper left and bottom right one. The pieces were just completely obliterated. There was no way I could rebuild it, but the bottom left and upper right ones were more or less intact, although I did have to Gorilla Glue them back into one solid piece. But since they weren't threaded, I didn't want to try anything like putting self-tapping screws in there. So what I opted to do instead is I basically super glued a small 1/4 inch nut to each of these, or sorry, a number 4 nut to each of those, and then just use the channel as a means of putting the number 4 screw and a washer in there so that it's much easier to remove. You've only got the 2 attaching it there, and it is a little bit offset, but it holds it in place. The screws aren't going to go anywhere, and the nuts are, if in the future you want to put the original clips back in, you can just, soften the glue, I guess, and remove them. So it's non-destructive. That's all we really care about on the back. Still got her fired up. Yeah, so let's give the line-in audio a try. Get my iPod or Apple dongle here hooked up and find something appropriate to play over it. Oh yes, and for that we do need to flip the selector switch at the back.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. In my heart I have but one desire, and that one is you.
Well, say for copyright infringement anyway, it works pretty good. Also, probably want to try it on something a little newer, because odds are whoever buys this is not going to be playing the ink spots through it all day long. So let's see something a little newer. Oh, there we go. How about the Eagles? That's good enough. Now, obviously the audio quality in a set like this is never going to be amazing. It's a single-ended output driving two speakers in parallel, and just little permanent magnet deals. It's nothing super fancy, no push-pull. I think this just set up as a standard Class A output with that 150C5. But it will reproduce it pretty darn well compared to some of the other AA5s I've dealt with in the past. And I think the customer will be pretty pleased with it. I know I'm happy with the way it came out. And that means I can get back to working on pretty much everything else that still isn't finished. So, until then.